Coming up next on Kiss My Kollectibles, we go into Gene Simmons' vault with Julian Gill. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube and iTunes.
Look, it's rock and roll!
All right, Kiss Army. It's time to shout it out loud and kiss my collectibles.
Welcome to the next episode of Kiss My Kollectibles. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason Herndon, and today is Mr. That'd be you, Andrew.
Oh, hey, Andrew Scambatti, here I am.
And all the way from, you're in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, somewhere over here.
Yeah, all the way from Los Angeles is Mr.
Who am I? I'm Ace Frehley. No, of course, Julian Gill.
Stevie Nicks.
Julian Gill with the voice for radio today.
Yeah, we got a very, very, very special episode for you today. Julian's very tired. It's very early, and he was up very late. But he did the Gene Simmons Vault experience yesterday with a few friends, and he's got a lot to tell us, and we're just going to jump right into it, I guess. So tell us about it.
Well, it was really fun, so I'm sure you'll all enjoy it. So, see ya.
All right. All right.
You know what? Making a decision to make a purchase of a vault is a life-affecting decision. It's a large amount of money. It's a large amount of music being promised, and most importantly, it's an experience that's being sold to us, and that's a key thing to keep in mind as we talk today. And I don't want to sound like Gene Simmons, but of course I'm wearing my Gene Simmons Vault T-shirt, $2,000 T-shirt, and it really comes back to experience. Gene Simmons handing you your vault of his 50 years in the music business, his collection of demos that have been chosen to represent his career. And once you get past kind of the sales pitchy sounding narrative, you get into a room with Gene Simmons handing you a freaking vault of music that actually is heavy. And I'm not going to say I'm the strongest guy in the world, but I'm not a weakling either. Picking that freaking thing, he says, "Go get your vault." It's that one over there. And I'm going to skip around a bit, and you guys can bring me back on track. Yeah. I'm still suffering from a little bit of shock and awe. So we're in the room, and he's Julian, that's your vault over there. Go and get it. Pick it up. So pick it up and put it on the control desk. He says, "This is from me to you." And so the whole thing is the experience. You're not just getting that tangible physical product. It really is wrapped up in everything else that is going on, specifically receiving the vault from Gene himself and him telling you, you have a dialogue with him, 5 to more minutes with him. It's all detailed on genesimmonsvault.com, exactly what you were promised. What you were delivered may well vary. Where you are in line may well dictate how much time you get with Gene. Obviously, if you're an early bird, you're going to be up at the beginning and have a little bit more time, perhaps. But who knows? It's all, how does your conversation go with Gene? How doesn't it go? Do you guys resonate and go into I spoke with some people who spoke to him about life-affecting events that had been helped by Gene and Kiss during their lives, and ended up having 15 minutes talking with him because he was fully engaged in that topic. Me trying to sell him something just did not go down well, so he kicked me out right after. No, I'm just joking on that. But so you just don't know. You can go all Forrest Gump on this and say, your Gene Simmons Vault experience is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, and that's exactly what it is. Everyone is going to be unique. We'll talk a little bit more about my actual Vault experience in a few minutes, probably, but. That's the nutshell. That's the monologue.
Well, what I thought was cool is nobody knew what the, I guess, storyteller's aspect of it was going to be. And what I thought was really cool is that Gene brought Ace in. He brought Bruce Kulick in, and then Eric Singer, was there as well, too. I don't think we're all going to get that, they're doing a vault here in Cleveland, and I'm, trying to worm my way in there. I don't think Ace Frehley is going to walk in the room in Cleveland, Ohio. Nor do I think. Well, I mean, Eric Mike is his hometown,
Eric
but
could.
he could.
Yeah.
But what I think was so cool about that is that you got all that added value that we may not get. I mean, we're certainly going to get a storyteller's portion of it because, Gene is selling it as as that, and that is on GeneSimmonsVault.com. So, but I thought it was cool. So, how did you know, or when did you find out that the guest list was going to be so massive? How did you find out that Ace was going to be there? Did they tell you that, or how did you find out, and what was your first reaction to that?
Obviously, there had been little asterisk hints left, I think a day or so beforehand, on the Gene Simmons Vault Facebook group, and I think there may even have been an email that came out. I don't recall everything, but I was standing in line. I was the second person in line, and overheard who was coming in, and some prospective things for other vault experiences, which I'm unfortunately unable to say anything about. All I can do is say, as Andrew did, is who knows what might be possible elsewhere. Who knows who may be available or interested in going to, and I'm not trying to dangle a carrot. This is KISS. There are a lot of people, both directly and indirectly related to the band or connected to the band, who've toured with the band as opening acts or whatever, worked with the band as engineers. I mean, on the Storytellers, we had the engineer that had worked with Gene Simmons and Bob Dylan telling a little bit about that session, and what he had then gone on to do in his career, and working on 5 Bob Dylan albums. So that that was, L.A. is a unique situation. It's the first vault experience. We're doing a show about it immediately after it because it's going to be a special one. It's the first one. We're the test subjects. They will have learned a lot about what worked yesterday, what they did not work, how the timelines that they envisaged worked and did not work. The Storytellers itself, Andrew, it's very clear that the Storytellers itself is a completely different thing than what we received yesterday. We had Gene Simmons blow through some very cool acoustic stuff on his guitar. The stuff with Ace earlier in the day was not the Storytellers. That was pure added on, unexpected surprise value. The Ace Frehley still being there 6 hours later to come back on stage with Bruce and Eric Singer was added value, unexpected, just gift from above. That is not part of the Storytellers.
What I thought was cool, and I'll try to find this photo to drop in just because I saw a ton of photos and videos yesterday. There's a photo where there's a bunch of guys, I think there's a couple fans behind the mixing counter, and it's it's Gene, it's Bruce, and then in the background you see Eric on his phone pointing, and Ace is laughing. So I commented, I said, this is probably the coolest thing I've ever seen, just because you have a current member of KISS and an original member of KISS who's no longer in the band. They're just having a good time. And to see that picture, I was like, this is so cool. It actually made me disappointed that I didn't get my shit together and I didn't get there, because everybody knows that LA is going to be the be all end all, because as much as you don't like to hear it, KISS is an LA band now. If this happened in 1984 when KISS was still a New York band, which is a whole different conversation, it would have been different. So, who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows what's gonna happen in New York City? Peter Criss ain't that far. Maybe Peter Criss will show up. You don't know. And to me, it seems like Gene is. What I like about this so much is Gene is not trying to sell you a KISS coffin or a KISS tchotchke. He's saying, come and listen and learn about the music. And that's what I think is so cool about it.
And me. Because everything that he tells you and talks about in your interaction with him directly, or him on stage, or him just walking around, you're not just limited to the interaction. You get to see and hear him. He's talking about, from moment one, he's talking about, this is for the fans. This is for the experience, and to make it the most wonderful thing that we've experienced possible. And that was his mindset from the moment he interrupted the interview I was giving by ramming the videographer. He was just pure on about making everything fantastic. And you know what? I want to give props out to Keith Valcourt. Keith has been the global project manager for Rhino for this project from conception, and yesterday was birth. And you know what, Keith? You and the Rhino team have given birth to a healthy, screaming baby full of joy. It really is like a childbirth thing, as an analogy, that what we experienced yesterday, it was a healthy baby. It had 10 fingers and 10 toes, and yeah, and a big set of lungs on
Or
it.
11
Wow.
CDs. 11 CDs. So
Yeah,
I
11
want to
CDs.
skip around just for a little bit, just because we're kind of talking
Go for
about
it.
this now. Have you listened to any of the CDs yet? I know everything is going 100 miles an hour, but have you actually sat down and listened to any of the music in there?
This is the disc that I went to first. It's the only one that's been out of my vault book.
Mhm.
It is the bonus disc. It is the one that we only got the track listing for, I think, on Friday.
Mhm.
And I wanted to obviously hear some of the special stuff on that. The only thing I've had a chance to listen to from that CD is Feel Like Heaven. And it was just the beginning, but I was just too beat last night to go any further into it. And again, I apologize for my voice here. Sitting in Studio A at Capitol Records yesterday. Number one, it was a legendary location. Go and Google the bands and the people who have recorded in that studio. And I believe they said that this was going to be the last event ever held in that studio.
Wow. That's
Wow.
cool.
Which is deep. So the Beach Boys have gone through there, Frankie Sinatra, Nat King Cole. I mean, those are just giants that I think we can probably put KISS up along with as icons of Americana and music. Just absolutely incredible. But during the day, and this is a little bit of a downside, upside, you go straight into this event and they've got a PA system playing The Vault. First song I get to hear that day is Master of Flash. And if you've never heard it, go on YouTube. You can hear the street punk version by John Montgomery, which has been out there for years. But to hear Gene doing that, so that's on here. I heard a lot of vault music yesterday. How much can I remember? Quite a bit of it, because it really jumped out at me. But number two, I think anyone who will there will tell you that the sound quality through the PA is not the way to listen to a vault experience.
Right.
In terms of the audio fidelity presented, and they were clear to stress that as well. So we heard a lot of music, but it certainly, I'm half deaf today because it was loud, and it was kind of brutal, and it was appropriate for his Carnival of Soul stuff. An asshole.
Oh my God. Oh my-
So how long was your experience yesterday? I mean, I know it was a long time, but from beginning to end, what was the time length?
Which part of it? Just the one-on-one with Gene, or from the moment I showed up to the moment?
The
I
beginning
crawled?
to end of the whole event. How
Well-
long was the whole event?
Well, let's give you the timeline. And it was, we arrived there at 10 a.m. I was adamant that we were going to be near the front of the line, if not at the front of the line, to ensure we got an early experience before anything, any speed bumps occurred. They started processing us, giving us our wristbands and checking us in, I think at about 10:45. Gene arrived, I think, bang on 11, just before they let us in. Right, no, it was around the same time, because I was doing the interview again, and he drove in and drove up behind the guy with a big grin on his face. And then you go in, and I think we had about an hour, mingling as everyone got processed into the waiting area, and they had bar tables set up with. Well, what do they have on the table? I think I have one here.
Did you take
somewhere.
it? Did you?
Me? I'm a KISS fan. What do you think I did? Oh, number one, they had let's see if you can see these. Gene Simmons Vault advertisement signed.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
tables.
That's a cool little thing to do.
And a little
Man,
added bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, managed to get one of those. They had the bobbleheads and KISS. I don't know what you call them, because you guys are the collectors of merch, not me. The posed figurines. Excuse me. So we were hanging out at the table. We went to the table with the Paul Stanley Alive figurine on it, and someone came over and said, "Hey, do you want that, or can I trade it?" And I said, and they plunked down Eric Singer LA KISS bobblehead, and off they went. And I was like, yeah, cool. And that's it. That's the one I've got. So I've got Eric Singer, and you know what? I'm happy.
Yeah.
So we're mingling. Obviously, I know a lot of people down there. Met a lot of new people as well. So it was mingling. And then they came and they kind of had seen who was coming in first, and they came and grabbed us and said, "Are you such and such? Okay, you're number 1 in line. You're number 2 in line. Come over here, line up." And they grabbed the first 3 people, so that not everyone was standing around. I don't remember if they did an intro. I think Keith may have gone up on stage and said, "Hey, welcome to the Vault Experience and all that. We're going to give you a great time today." But again, that's just a haze. So we line up. The first guy goes in. And here's a great story for those of us who have been either KISS fans from the Asylum era or the Alive era. The first guy in line became a fan because of Gene Simmons' Family Jewels.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's funny you mention that because I will argue this point till I'm out of breath. Gene Simmons' Family Jewels saved KISS. Anybody that disagrees is just wrong. It's just wrong.
I've always, I've always been on that fence of agreeing with that.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't save them, it certainly enhanced them.
Correct.
Sure.
Correct. Because you remember, just to get off on a quick tangent before we go back to Julian, KISS they weren't touring. They were a band that was doing these special event shows.
Right.
And then Gene Simmons' Family Jewels came out, which was a hit. You had all these people who weren't KISS fans or other KISS fans just talking about Gene. Yeah, it was silly. Yeah, it was hokey. Yeah, it was staged. But everyone was talking about Gene. Then everyone was talking about Gene and Shannon getting married. And then what happened the next year after Family Jewels was going to end, and I think it was 2 years after Family Jewels premiered. KISS is back on the Alive 35 tour. KISS records Sonic Boom. I will argue this point. Anyway, enough of my tangent. Back to Julian.
But there you have a very interesting dynamic that you've got myself, who's obviously came in the 80s. You've got guys I was with who came in the 70s. Ken Keenan, who does the podcast with us on the KISS FAQ, is a 77 entry point. Jonathan's 70s. And then you got a guy who comes in and doesn't know a lot of kind of the minutia that us complete loser geeks know. But was inspired by a show that I never got into. So from there, that totally validates, as Andrew said, Gene Simmons' Family Jewels has had an impact, has had value, has had worth. So I thought that was really cool. So I've gone off on a tangent myself, and I can't remember where we are. So pull me back.
Well, you were just talking about how they lined you up 1, 2, and 3, so everybody else didn't have to, So and the first guy goes in. He's a Family Jewels guy.
The great thing was obviously we're standing there watching. You could see where we were in Studio A has a big glass wall, obviously, as a studio does. The control room is behind that glass wall. It's the control room where the personal meet and greet and presentation of your vault takes place with Gene. In that room is Gene, and you're standing between the console and the back desk. So there's a good 6 to 8 feet of room, plenty of room for you to move around, for Gene to have plenty of space. You'd have space. And whatnot. So this first guy goes in. 5 minutes later, he comes running out. And he's like, holy shit, he gave me his watch.
Oh, wow.
That was his secret item. Gene took a watch off his wrist and gave him the watch.
Unbelievable.
And Keith Valcourt came out and said, hey, you got to come back in here. Your experience isn't over. And this guy just kind of like dazed, glazed over eyes is guided back in to continue his experience. And theirs went on a really long time. It's really hard to judge these things in terms of time when you're actually involved in the moment. But I would have said theirs was a good 20 minutes. And there may have been some setup, that went on inside after they went in the room, because there was a video crew, photographers, and, guys bringing in the vaults from the side room. So that was the first vault experience for me. I mean, how do you react? I mean, you've met the guy, you've heard his backstory, that he's a kind of a Johnny-come-lately fan,
right,
with that entry point, and he comes out with that expression on his face that is you cannot buy that. Right. You could not buy that look on your face, on his face, for $2,000, for $20,000. That was just a look of pure shock and awe.
Yeah.
So,
about how old do you think that gentleman was?
Oh, he's probably in kind of our age group, 35 to 40,
okay. All right.
Late 40s. I wouldn't want to guess too wrong and offend
Well,
him.
I was just curious, since, he said he came in during the Family Jewels era. I was thinking maybe he might have been a teenager when that came out, so maybe he was in his, late 20s by now or something like that.
He might well have been. He seemed, very well-spoken, intelligent gentleman, and his wife or partner. Very, very nice couple. Absolutely awesome to spend time with a couple like that at the head of the line for 45 minutes and talking with them about all, facets of
that's what it's about too.
Our stories.
That's what it's about too. These experiences are our meeting, whomever we're in line for, Gene, Paul, Kiss, whomever. But I'll tell you something. We're going to go back to like 2001 when I was waiting online Tower Records to meet Gene and Paul for the box set signing. I was online for 9 hours, in New York City. And thankfully it was a beautiful day. But I was on that line for 9 hours. You meet the fans and you're talking with these people. You're holding each other's space. Like, I got to go get a burger. Can you hold my spot? We're like, yeah. We're talking about the box set. We're talking about how we became fans. And some of those people that I met online that day, I still talk to. I still, have a connection with them. We still chat on Facebook. Whenever I'm in New Jersey, we meet up. We have lunch. I mean, it's so cool.
Some of the more fond memories I have is, Andrew, you don't remember this because you're fairly young, but in the 80s when you were buying tickets, you bought tickets in person, and if you wanted to be close to the stage, you went to the ticket venue that was selling the tickets, and you camped out. And so, when I bought tickets to Hot in the Shade, I went with, my best friend and his dad, and we were the first in line at Turtles Records in Nashville at 9:00 the night before the tickets went on sale. And by, midnight, there were 100 people on the sidewalk of this record store camped out with tents and chairs and all kinds of stuff. And you didn't spend 9 hours, you spent 12 or 13 hours with no sleep, waiting to buy tickets, to shows, and you just wander up and down the line and you meet the most crazy, amazing people. And, that was always as much of an experience as going to the show was, and meeting all of these people. And then you see them again at the show, 2 or 3 months later, and you're, hey, how you been? And this, that I love that kind of stuff.
And that's totally what our line was totally like that.
Yeah.
Going up, hey, Matt Hendrickson, I haven't seen you in since the last, the ACE show, or Sonny, hey, met you in Nashville. Hey, man, how you doing? And it was just, it's people. And that to me now at this stage of my life is what's more important than collecting. That's why I don't collect. I collect memories now where I go to Atlanta or the LA Kiss Expo or these things and meet people who I've known online for decades but have never met in person. That to me is just what I want to do. Those are the Kiss memories I want to savor now rather than holding another, well, I won't say holding another acetate because I'll do that in a minute.
Yeah,
but in terms of, I don't need any more copies of Alive. I need more copies, more copies of Memories. But one more thing I think to kind of mention on the line is Keith and the gang took very good care of us yesterday. It was a little bit humid in LA, mid 70s, sun was blasting down on the parking lot where we're lined up, and they came down the line. Would you like some? What is this?
So you want one now?
Money bag soda.
So you want one now?
So no, taking care of you by offering you drinks, and they had root beers, the regular sodas, the diet ones.
Which did you get?
I'm a fat guy. Take a guess. Diet.
That doesn't mean anything. The root beer is the best one.
Hey,
that's what Matt said.
Yeah, I don't know that, Andrew. Could you
your box is sitting right? Your box is sitting right there. It's sitting right there.
So every time the line grew a little bit as people came on in, Keith went back to his van and came back with a handful of drinks and, hey, anyone, what you need? Comes back with a bucket of ice. That was the customer service we received as part of this experience from Keith. Again, something else to give him props for, because you could easily forget that. He's the manager going into this project. He could have been just focused on everything inside. He didn't forget about us standing out in the sun, even though it was only for 30, 45 minutes. So, props,
It's awesome.
So cool. So let's wind the clock back a little bit, because I remember when details for this vault kind of started trickling out, and there was a video that was leaked, and among the fans we were kind of poking jokes about the vault and making fun of it. But then it gets announced, and the price points gets announced, which the producer experience, the home experience, and the vault experience. When did you decide that you actually wanted to purchase the vault, and what made you decide that you wanted to purchase this vault experience?
I decided the moment it went on sale and pressed click.
That was it? I mean, that was it for you? There wasn't any...
Yeah, Gene Simmons said, give me your credit card, and I said, yes, Gene.
Yes, Gene.
Because
it didn't...
for me personally, I was like, I'm not buying that. I'm not giving him a dime of my money. And then I saw your experience yesterday. Take away the Ace and the Bruce and the Eric stuff. I'm like, I gotta go. I have to go. So now I'm sold.
And we'll talk a little bit more about what I actually talked to him in my experience, my presentation with, but it didn't take me any time to think about it. Do I care that it's a 38-pound vault? No. Do I care that it's got a Gene Simmons doll in it? No. Or a gold medallion?
I want that.
No.
Andrew does.
I want that figure.
So none of that was what mattered to me. I'm a demo guy. I have always been. It's been my mission to uncover better sound quality versions of songs that either circulate or ones that do not. I've done the full owning of reels, resplicing and baking and resurrection of material deemed lost. I have done that. I've done the same thing that those engineers have done in order to bring the music onto this vault. So it was a no-brainer for me. 150 Gene Simmons songs. It was just a given. I didn't have to think about purchasing it because that is what interested me, and my credit card balance at that time afforded me the ability to do so, and I knew I would have a good few months to pay it off. So before we took place, and I made the last payment on my credit card the week before the experience. So I managed to clear that debt and back down to zero balance, just as Gene would recommend in everyone's lives. But there you go. I was able to. I was willing. And I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to, marry that up with a mortgage payment or something else going on in my life. I was in the right place at the right time financially to be able to do it. So I pulled the trigger. And then I had, oh my God, what have I just done? And how am I going to tell how am I going to explain this to my wife who sees the credit card bills? $2,000, Gene Simmons. She just gave me a look again.
Again.
Haven't you grown out of this yet?
Because
you really are an idiot, Julian.
Turn the clock back to 2004 when I purchased my first and only platinum ticket experience. My bank called me up, and my bank was like, Mr. Scambatti, you've just charged, $1,012 to KISS. We just wanted to make sure that this was a legitimate purchase. And I was like, yeah, it is. And they're like, all right. I'll always remember that phone call because the guy, he actually was like, he actually did that. And I was like, what? I was like, it's legit. So, all right.
My wife just threatens to divorce me and sell all of this crap behind me every day. So
before we get into like the experience of this, just because I'm a humor guy and I want to inject some humor into this like I always do. You got your vault with you? I want to see you try to take this vault out of the box.
Oh man. Okay. Well, my headphones have to go off, so I'm not gonna hear your laughter. So I'll have to watch this episode after.
Well, that should be interesting. Drum roll, please.
Look at this thing.
Good Lord. Hey, he's got it up in the air.
Yeah, but he's about to... Look at that, man.
Very, very nice. It was cool seeing all the photos from the event yesterday with all the vaults lined up.
Yeah.
Man, it's so killer, dude. Price point aside, it's a killer looking piece of merchandise.
We got to do it.
Oh, I'm going to find out how to do it if I have to sell half of this stuff back here. So
we're going to I think we could finance it too. I think I'm going to try to do that.
I've got some things here. I can sell these off for about $1,500 and
look at that.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
Okay, I don't know how well you can see that with the lighting.
Well, no,
was
we
was a
saw it,
great
but like,
It is a monstrosity. I think. Excuse me. Of course, while I was doing that, this fell out.
No.
so
It's only the
that's the
music.
book with the CDs, right?
Yeah, that's heavy. Weighs about. You know what? I'm ashamed to say it weighs more than my On Tour monster book.
Well,
So it is hefty.
Wow. Wow. So inside the vault, the book goes inside the vault, right?
is there a light in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a light in there.
So here, let me zoom in a little bit.
Yeah,
and,
zoom in. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Look at
So-
that.
So the book lays in there over top of the figure and the medallion.
Yep, it
Okay.
hides that. And let's see if I can get the panel so that you can actually see it. And hopefully So in the inside door of the vault, you've got the panel that mentions the executive producers, Gina, of course, who we saw very early on in this, and Sienna, the other ones, the other family that did the producer experience to help choose some of the details about the vault.
Wow. So two people did producer experiences, which were $25,000 a piece, right?
That's right. At least two who wanted their names used.
Right. Gotcha.
So it is really solidly constructed. One thing that people noticed on the photos that I was posting yesterday on Facebook are it's got faux rust marks on it as
Right.
if you'd gone into an old building and damp had seeped onto it. It's a Hollywood prop.
Right.
And I met the gentleman who designed it and constructed it. So it's very much built as a prop, but it's built very solid. As you can see, I was struggling with it. It's girth. It's trying to getting that out of the box is trying to get Gene's wallet out of his back pocket. It is a monumental task. Monumental is, of course, a big word like gymnasium. So it's a hell of a product. It makes Kissteria, the box set, look like a footrest.
So,
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Tom.
What's your little
Hey, I have one too.
thing in there? What's your little isn't there like a compartment in there, a secret compartment in there?
So I debated whether I should look in it or not. Right down here at the bottom, I don't know if you can see that, but below the action figure and the medallion is a secret compartment, which if you push, it releases on a catch. And I'll get the camera for this.
Yeah, get the camera for this.
Because,
Yeah, 'cause we can't see that.
I want you to see how much depth is actually. And again, we're looking into the dark here, so let me just get an iPhone for some additional light.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Jason and I couldn't afford the Julian Gill producer experience. That's why the lighting is subpar. Had we paid, the lighting would have been a little better.
All right.
So-
yeah.
So in this vault, you can reach in, and I don't know how much of that you can see. My whole forearm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see quite a bit.
We could see that.
So you can actually fit a pretty good sized gift in there. And
Right.
trying to get this camera back on. Let me know if I got off focus, please.
No, you're good.
So what did I find in mine? Well, as I told you, the first guy, who rightfully is the first vault experience ever done, came out with the watch off Gene's wrist. A person behind me had two items in his: a guitar strap, which Gene took out and signed for him right then and there.
Wow.
And I don't recall what the other item was. I think I saw someone else with another watch, all sorts of things. Mine, I think, is absolutely hilarious. Because it's just so quirky, and from Gene's collection. It is It is the Alamo Rapid Play
Yeah.
sheet music
Yeah.
for alto sax, baritone sax, and E-flat instruments
That's
from the Alive 2 album, which I think
that's a
is,
Coin Air merchandise, so that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
and inside it was Gene's backstage pass from the Edmonton Expo, which how more ironic can you get than what did I attend?
Yeah, you
Yes.
attended that.
At Edmonton. So the pass he was wearing. So that was my secret item, which totally can fit in there because you know what? You're like, how does that fit in there? Behind the backdrop where the action figure recesses and the medallion is, the secret compartment actually goes up and behind.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't realize that yesterday. It was only looking at it a little bit this morning that is a pretty darn good size. So if you're wondering what your what are we calling this? Your special gift or whatever it's called.
Bonus gift.
It could be anything. It could be a pack of socks from his collection, or who knows? Again, it's not part of the price. Everything that we get, first guy gets a watch. I get a really cool sheet music thing from Gene's collection. It's something from Gene's hands, his collection, to you. So is there possibly a disparity in commercial value? Yeah, but you know what? You're not supposed to be selling these boxes. These are supposed to be things that you savor forever. And
Right.
who knows what you might, that's the wonderful thing. You are guaranteed an experience with Gene that he's going to present you your vault. He guarantees you the song stories and signing it. And this is the bonus.
I can't wait to see in the Facebook group that Joe Odell started, the Vault Owners group, that him and Keith now run, when people start doing their experiences and sharing the special items that they get in them. I can't wait to see the whole laundry list of just what he decides to pull out of his warehouse or his office or his sock drawer or wherever and stick in those things. It's amazing,
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. When you think of it, what Gene may decide, let's put that in, or he may go into an experience and have an empty vault there, and Gene has an item off to the side,
Right.
which if he's taking a watch off his wrist or his pocket or wherever it came from for that first person, you don't know. It may not be in there. It may be handed to you by a person, adding to your experience, and again, it shouldn't be about any perceived value or perception of value. It's about what it is. It's a gift from his collection to you, which is what it's all about. It's just another nice little piece of icing on the cake.
Okay.
Incredible.
So the guy comes out and you're next in line. Start.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Okay.
That's the easy part. Obviously, I have met Gene enough times that while he doesn't know me on a first name basis, is that I'm comfortable by his powerful and attractive visage and demeanor. I'm not going to be instantaneously
Starstruck.
No.
Right.
No. Am I impressed? Yeah, he's Gene Simmons. He's an American icon of Israeli origination. To me as an immigrant, he represents the American dream. He came to America and made it. I came to America and made it. Yeah. And we both have a very similar outlook on what is absolutely wonderful about this country and why people want to come here, why people swim rivers to come to America. So I always like seeing him. He's big. And I'm only 5'7", so it's always impressive. I go in, I just set up my video camera on a tripod, zoom it in and get it all ready to capture the thing, and then go in and off we go.
So they allow you to film yourself, right? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. You are allowed to. You are allowed to have if you have a +2 or +1 with you, to have them take photos as well during. If they're not going to directly interact with Gene, they are absolutely accommodating. I asked Keith as I went in, "Hey, is this cool? Can I do this? Just a matter of respect." Yeah, man, whatever you want to do.
So are they also professionally filming it? I thought I read that. Okay, good.
They are professionally, and just taking a step way back to the beginning, on the front door is, of course, a sign of this event is being filmed. By stepping through here, you are accepting to the use of your likeness, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the whole thing is being filmed in different parts. And just again, sidetracking somewhat, the video crew was grabbing fans here and there to interview them about their Gene Simmons stories, their KISS streaks, and what brought them that. So they were busy all day. The crew in the control room for the what are we going to call it, meet and greet, all professional camera guys, very, very cool. Stayed out of the way as well.
So that's interesting because to to me because, I thought when I read that, excuse me, that it was, they were just going to, film your interaction and that would be something else that you would get. But you're saying they're filming everything and they're talking to fans and they're doing all of this thing. So it sounds like to me that they may release something at some point in time about this experience. Do you think?
I would think probably not. I think more along the lines that this is a great opportunity for promotional material. If you have a lot of vault experiences still to come, you have a lot of people who are sitting on the fence who are like, can I do this? Do I want to do this? And hopefully, and I say it with absolutely no, I have no dog in this fight because I've done my experience. If you can do it. I'm not getting paid to say that either. And I hope that comes across from independent voices that they have interviewed, that in some of the Gene Simmons Vault videos that go up in the coming weeks before Detroit or as Gene heads to Australia, probably sooner, that our experience, our reactions, you see the reaction on my face.
Oh, yeah.
You can't fake ugly or how happy I am. It's, and they really, they spend a lot of time talking with people. Yeah. So they don't talk to you while they were doing the Gene thing. It's Gene talking to you, you talking with Gene, and Keith is there. He's a moderator. He's just keeping an eye on things in the room and seeing if there's someone, or this is my read on him, this is not official gospel, is that he's there in case someone is starstruck to help them through and make the most of it. So again, being a value-oriented person to make sure that a vault experience goes well for a purchaser so they don't come out feeling, oh God, I blew that. 3 minutes and I'm out with my vault because I didn't talk to Gene or have anything to say to him. Right. What is the coolest part in there? It's going to be different for every single person because your conversation is going to be either personal or something else. Gene may initiate your conversation. You don't know. I come in and I brought a copy of the 6-pound Monster on Tour book to present to him. I said, Gene, before we get started with any of this wonderful vault stuff, I said, I want to present you with your personal copy of Kiss on Tour 1973 to 2017. I've only had 50 copies of this sold in honor of the Atlanta Kiss Expo, but this is your life, your touring history, and the best that I've been able to compile for that and present it to him. And he held it up to his heart and said, wow, and put it down on the table and held it and hefted it and told the guy, look at this thing. This thing is massive. This is heavy, and started flipping through it right then and there. And then he gently moved it over to the side, and we got on with the experience, which was, talking.
Of course, you have a copy. I mean, how many copies did you have, Jason? Of course you do.
I just have one, but I've got this one. So
yeah, and that is the same one that Gene got, and he's either a very good actor. Go back and watch Runaway.
I love that movie. I like that movie, man.
Or he is legitimate in his emotional response. That is what I am left with feeling, and that is all that matters to me, is that he was really taken by that. And I'm glad I was number 2 in line to be able to present him with that before he'd cycled through a lot of people. And the fun part was, is I could see him later on through the day touching the book and moving it off to the side and showing it to people. And I did hear that he did talk about it to some people.
That's awesome.
There. So, that wasn't about me, though. That was just about me honoring him. And as I do with Peter Criss, when I see him thanking him for what he's given me, which is a joy of digging into newspaper reels and all that, was important for me to tell him. I'm not just there for the experience. I'm there to thank him for the experience that he's given me throughout my 30 plus years as a KISS fan and what I'm about to receive in the vault. So what do we talk about? I don't remember.
You watch the video.
Good thing they have videoed it. Yeah.
I've got my own. So, I don't know if I was blabbering, but, I thanked him for all of the music. And I did say I was the guy who bought your Stanley the Parrot acetate in the 2000 Butterfields auction. I collect demos and have for years from unofficial sources. It is nice to finally be able to pay you for all the music that I've enjoyed. And he just turned to me and said, I like this guy. and for me, that is totally honest, the sentiment that I expressed to him, that I have enjoyed a lot of the demos that are on this box set, not in as good quality, maybe not the particular version, over the past 30 years. It's been a big part of my life. It still is to this day. It always will be. And to have paid for that privilege, finally, not directly, obviously, because I'm paying for an experience, but indirectly, and to tell him that, and also kind of remind him that there are people who still love demos, and maybe hopefully keep that in his head that Julian likes demos. What else do I still have? Who knows?
That's
so
amazing.
cool. So listen, I'm fucking sold on this. I want to do it. I want to do it, and I'm ready to sell whatever I need to sell to do it. I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. So talk a little bit about the guests that got to be there. When did Ace show up? Did you get to chat with Ace? Talk a little bit about the added value that you got being in LA.
Timeline, again, is very difficult to recollect. There was an open bar.
And there's your answer.
Hey, Bobby, what's going on?
There was a very well stocked open bar and waiters coming around with hors d'oeuvres on. It was silver service, classy. The hamburgers started off as halves, and then they were cutting them into quarters, and then they were cutting them into eighths. To make sure everyone got some stuff. I don't remember when Ace came in. I think it was about 1:30-ish. So it was early because I did my experience at I think about 1:15. So he was there very early.
And hold on, just to cut you off, they let you, after you get done with your vault, they'd let you hang out in the building too, because there's still other stuff, right? They don't like usher you back out.
No,
Cool.
you're there to stay all day. You have 2 wristbands. You have one which is your level, I guess, and the other one gets you back in the building. So you can go out if you want, which the first thing I did was roll my vault out to the car because I wasn't going to have it sitting on a luggage cart.
He made a couple potholes as he's rolling that thing.
Oh, wait. I need to go back. I've completely forgotten to mention something important. In the vault presentation, Gene signs your vault to you. And this is going to be very important to people in the vault experiences to come, because I was completely unprepared for that. I didn't even think. And he says, "What do you want me to say?" And that kind of expression on my face is, "What do I want you to say?"
What do you want me to say? That's a great idea for a song. Keith, get my notepad.
So I said, I finally came up. You just say to Julian, and here's the music you've been waiting for, which it again, rings true. And then he signs it with Gene Simmons, and he was going very slowly doing his thing, saying, I'm trying to remember how to do my full name, because he does his full signature, and he takes his time doing a beautiful signature, and then he sticks a date underneath. And anyone who's seen the picture that I posted,
it's great.
Let's get that out of the way right now. He spelled my name wrong with an E. I do not care. If you have a name that you do want spelled correctly, tell him.
Spell it to him.
Spell it for him. I just happen to not even think of that, and I don't really care, because obviously I used the King Julian avatar for many years.
There
so
you go.
he did. As long as it's not Julie Ann, I'm good.
Yeah. You're gonna have to roll me another one over, Keith, because
Keith, this one's ruined. You know what's funny about that? Like, when you say he took his time, that's so awesome, because over my 25 years being a fan, I've seen him ruin a lot of stuff.
Dude,
And he's ruined stuff of mine where he just scribbles GS in a line over a face too. I'm like, what the fuck?
Some of the reactions to that photo on Facebook were depressingly negative, and I had to unfriend a few people yesterday on Facebook for their reactions to the stuff. It's like, you are gone. I do not need your negative stuff. If that's how you feel, that's fine. I can't do it. I can't do anything about that. I do not care. I could have said something. I could have spelled my name right, or spelled it for him. It's just not important to me. The moment is written on the top of that. Even better is he put 1.6.08. He got the year wrong as well. So I actually got my Gene Simmons vault 10 years ago, people. Yeah. So when you are all scrambling for your copy of the Kiss Alive 2 misprint cover, I've got the only existing Gene Simmons vault misprint in existence. That the only one that was issued
double
in
misprint. It's a double
2008.
misprint.
So, and they're like, "Oh, I would have punched Gene if he'd done that to my name and got
Whatever."
I mean, are you really that bad that you can't take a moment? We all know it's 2018. I've done autographs. I fucked up my own name.
Yes.
It's embarrassing. I've actually started my name with the wrong letter in autographing books.
Okay. All kinds. Everybody has ruined a date, especially when the date changes.
We're talking about
changes.
a date 10 years in the past. That just makes it funny. I would laugh at that.
What this is just a public service to everyone doing the vault. If you do have a name that you do have to have spelled right for everyone's different. If they do an I or an E or whatever, and some people's names, they're so used to it through their lives, so they just, like me, don't give a damn. But if you do, maybe print it out in big on a big sheet of paper, and so that he gets it right, because he's taking his time to make everyone happy. Remember that. He's not going to be offended if you say, "This is how my name is." But now that everyone knows that he's going to dedicate it to you, I'd say keep it to Twitter length.
I already know what I want him to say.
Too long.
Yeah, I already know.
What? Oh, I know what it is too.
Yeah, I already know.
I know what it is. Does it have anything to do with one of the Beatles?
It does. It does.
Oh, yeah.
It does. It does. For those of you that don't know, and I'll remember this little thing for as long as I live. For some reason, Gene says I look like Paul McCartney. And it started in 2009 when I was backstage on the Sonic Boom tour. And we're talking, he's calling me Paul McCartney. And then after the show was over, I went to walk backstage because I had parked in the backstage lot. So I went to walk backstage. And as I was walking backstage after the show, Gene was getting ready and he was walking to, I guess, the van to get back to the hotel. He's still in his spandex, in his socks, has a towel over his head, looks over and goes, "Hey, Paul McCartney," and just got in the car. And left. So, and it's been a joke. Like, he doesn't remember my name, but every time he sees me, he goes, "Hey, Paul McCartney." I don't know if he just says it because I look like Paul McCartney or if he actually remembers, "Oh, that's the kid I call Paul McCartney." I don't know, but to me, if I get a vault signed, it's going to be, "To Andrew, you sure do look like Paul McCartney." Gene Simmons.
Nice. So that was the only thing that I was not prepared for. I didn't even consider that he would ask me what I want him to write on my vault. So
mine's going to say, "To Jason, Stacy, please do not kill your husband."
To awesome. Jason, "Stacy, my number is."
Yeah, oh yeah. All right, go ahead, Julian. Sorry.
No, that is really it. So we wrap up. My buddy Jonathan brought a whole bunch of his Gene's fanzines from the 60s with him, not to get signed or anything, just to show Gene. And Gene,
the Cosmo Stilettos.
Yeah, Cosmo Stiletto Fawn. Gene loved seeing those, and they were talking about Seth, who obviously was involved in those fanzines and played in early bands with him. I talked to Gene. The story that I had is I mentioned that I'd interviewed Marty Cohen, several years ago, who obviously everyone is under the assumption that Stephen Coronel is the only person who was there when Gene Simmons met Paul Stanley. No, Marty was there. And awesome. There are some good stories about those guys driving upstate New York, getting pulled over. And Gene told us a great story about Marty and Gene living in a freezing house in upstate New York that had no heating. The pipes were frozen, and Marty apparently liked to keep booze bottles around, and Gene needed to pee one day, so he just peed in one of the bottles. He came back in the room and Marty was drinking out of it, and he just did not have the heart to tell him.
Oh no! Oh no! No.
That's great. So that was a great story. And then then we had stuff signed. Now I don't know what the kind of the rules are, but I did have a Ulysses Grant in my pocket just in case, and we got everything we wanted signed. I had 3 photos, 2 from the Reno meet and greet. If you've seen my Facebook, you know that Gene's looking over my shoulder, checking out my Odyssey t-shirt.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Excuse me. And had that one signed, and I have a picture that I licensed for the Odyssey book of him with Eric Carr, just so I'm never going to have anything signed by Eric, and just him standing with Eric behind the drums, and that is going to go up on my wall that's as close as I can ever get to Eric.
That's awesome.
Being on it, and it comes from obviously an album that's important to me. And Jonathan got a whole bunch of cool shits. He got his originals 2 signed, some tour books, and some 1974 first press kit photos. So it was a really cool. They had pens. Again, if you're going in there with something specific that you want to color on, make sure you bring your own pens. They were well prepared, and they supplied for theirs. But if you have any particular requirements for your stuff, don't expect someone else to have it, and make sure you don't forget it yourself.
So they were good with items that you guys brought in to get signed.
Yeah, it actually says in genesimmonsvault.com that each person has 2 items, and that there's additional time there you can get more items signed. It says it right there, which based on what Julian says, there's going to be time. But don't be that guy that brings the stack. You know,
were there any guys that brought the stack?
No.
Of stuff to get. Okay,
good.
I didn't see anyone that I would call disrespectful in terms of the amount of stuff that they were taking in. And there was a really good mix of stuff that was being brought in. The KISS comics, lunch boxes, Kissteria tops.
Nice.
Sorry, Andy, my buddy. No one brought any coffin components to get signed that I saw. But there was a great mix of albums. The guy who was in front of us had the Gene Simmons. Another great story about him. He had a still sealed copy of the '78 solo album Picture Disc.
Nice.
And we looked at it. It didn't look like a gore. And what he was going to do was have Gene open it and sign it right then and there for his.
Wow.
Gene would be the one who got to break the seal. It didn't have a cut corner either, which was wonderful.
Even better. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, again, lots of different stuff getting signed.
Wow.
So cool.
That was the first guy in line, you said, right?
Yeah, that was the first guy.
Wow.
Hey, Jules fan that.
Yeah, already did.
Crazy.
Yeah. Way ahead of you.
He's just waking up. He's like, make sure you talk about the Family Jules fan.
Hey, he's going to keep reminding me, hey, man.
What's up, Jonathan?
See you guys in Atlanta.
Yes, sir. We will see you.
You went through the line. You came out. Talk about when you first saw Ace.
I first saw Ace. He came in, and obviously whenever any KISS-related personality shows up at one of these events, actually, no, I saw him first because I'd gone to the restrooms, which were by the entrance, and he was coming in with Rachel and getting checked in at the VIP table. So I didn't stop or say anything to him because that's inappropriate. So I went back to my table, and then a few minutes later, he came down the hallway and into the studio, and they ushered him in pretty quickly. He jumped. Ace cut the line to get his vault. So someone who was waiting. Had to give his or her spot to Ace Frehley. So,
oh wow,
so
Ace actually went into the room and got presented a vault just like everybody else.
Ace got a vault experience.
I know. Oh wow, that's great. It's great.
Ace and Gene had a reunion in there, and you could see it going on behind the glass. And then he came out, and I don't remember. He probably went and did some stuff. They had a hospitality room off to the side and all that. But then he came back into the room and started mingling and. The photo ops. I didn't do the photo op at that point, but he hung out. He came in, and if I recall correctly, they took a break then from the vault presentations to do their little jam session up on stage.
Wow,
which
so cool.
So cool.
I turned to the guy and said, who the hell thought this was going to happen?
Right.
And I stressed it in some of the stuff I was posting on Facebook. This is not the song and stories. This is just Gene and Paul getting up there together with 2 guitars that are in the wrong fucking tuning. They were in 440. Excuse me. Can't do anything about the cough. But, the guitars were totally out of whack. They gave it their best effort. And my God, what an effort to see Gene. And you got to go back. I think Sonny Pooney posted some of the best video because my camera died in the middle of it. And I don't know if it got onto the card or not. I haven't even checked. But I seem to recall Torpedo Girl, excuse me. And
I saw an effort of Torpedo Girl.
It was an effort again.
That's really all it ever is with Torpedo Girl, just an effort.
Yeah, being unrehearsed and impromptu and just a special moment. I don't care. I don't care if they just get up there and talk with one another. The dynamic between the two was just wonderful. It was like brothers. It really was. There was joshing and a little bit of making fun of one another's foibles and memories and everything. But Gene Simmons and Ace doing a bit of Rocket Ride, and again
So
the
cool.
the full sets and all that, and just talking about the songs. Hey, I wrote that bass, or you should have written that bass line. Just that interaction. And then Ace is like, oh, I want to look inside my ball hair, you probably heard the Bentley comments,
Yeah.
Oh, this is heavy. I'm going to get this into my Bentley to go home. And, all that sort of thing. Just insane. And then Gene got back to work. They were very cognizant at the time that they were probably slipping behind from the very first person. So.
All right. So, get off your phone, Andrew.
I'm selling KISS stuff right now to pay for the vault.
Well, good Lord, man. You can do that in 30 minutes.
Selling KISS stuff to pay for the vault because I'm going to do it. So
Andrew Scambatti. So, all right. So they do the little get together thing and jam or whatever, and then Gene goes back, and then so what now?
Ace, here's what shocked me. Ace hangs out. Oh, no pun intended, of course. Ace hung out for the rest of the day.
Oh.
Not just in the room continuously. And here's the numbers. How many vaults were presented yesterday? Well, the paid ones were 49. So I don't know if they got to 50 by the end of the day, and that was the number that they were looking for each vault experience is 50.
Wow.
Yeah. So they definitely had 49. We took a picture of all the vaults lined up. Some had already been presented by that time, and of course they had vaults for. Did he give Eric Singer one? I'm pretty sure Eric Singer said yeah, because Gene had dedicated to him as "Hey Eric, blow me." But whether that was just a joke or not, who knows? But AC got his. And they took care of him, and he was so relaxed. I have never, in all the times I've seen him at events or at meet and greets, I've never seen him this relaxed without all the handlers around him. It was just he and Rachel, and he was so relaxed at the beginning. I got a picture with him just before 8:30 at the very end. I finally got I never do photos with people. I always forget because I'm so wrapped up in the moment. I was like, oh shit, I got to get a picture with Ace this time. And Ace just puts his arm around me. Hey, my God, and
that picture, that photo with you and Ace is one of the coolest photos, because you always see photos with Ace, in the meet and greet experience, and he's behind the table and he's just doing this, and somebody's trying to reach over a table or something like that. That's cool if that's what you can get, but man, that personal photo with his arm around you and it looks like you are hanging, it's really a great photo.
I have no complaints about the meet and greet photo from last was it February, April when I saw him, but this one blows it out of the water in terms of just a human dynamic on that picture. And I'm smiling and happy, and it's late in the day and he's as relaxed then as he had been, and he'd just come off stage from the final jam session. So it was absolutely sick. Knowing that Ace was going to be there, I didn't know which Ace was going to be there,
right.
Whether it was the Ace who was, not going to be into it. He gave so much to Gene yesterday by being there and participating in Gene's first vault experience. Yep. I don't think he would do that if he hated Gene, even to get a copy of the vault.
I don't think Ace, Gene, or Paul, I don't think they hate each other. I think there's a huge amount of respect, and you kind of saw it when Ace and Gene did that concert a couple months ago, and they kind of got on stage and they jammed a little bit. But you see when they look at each other and they're just like they laugh. They're like old brothers. I
personally think, if anything, Paul and Gene are disappointed with Ace over the years because they would rather have him around than not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Think of all the missed opportunities with Ace, and what's so wonderful with his sobriety is his lucidity. that
Right.
he's able to participate and fully be involved in these things now. And I pray for his continued sobriety, because that's a hard road.
Yep.
For him, it's a battle every moment, every day. So Ace, here's to you. You're a card. And I saw people complaining on some of the Facebook videos that I tried to go live a few times. My phone was just,
I was there waiting at the computer, and every time you went live, I saw it, and I was just tickled. But I say this on the FAQ board, and I say, you know what? I can't wait till Julian shuts this shit down, so you all have no place to complain. There is something, like, we like to joke around about KISS, and we like to make fun and do things like that. But there's a lightheartedness about it. Nobody here hates anything about KISS.
The biggest compliment that I read on our episodes, Andrew, all the episodes that we've done in the past and all the people we've had on, is these guys, you can tell these guys love KISS.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest compliment. Not your show's better than this show or whatever. It's, you can tell these guys love KISS. And, I take that very seriously, because I love KISS.
Same.
And I love every member
Same.
that's ever been in KISS. I love everything KISS has ever done. I'm that guy, as I've said many times No, I love the Elder. I love everything KISS has ever done, with the very rare exception of a song or two that wasn't even on official albums.
I finally found my way.
Right. Well, that was on an official album, but that Diane Warren track or whatever, But
Nothing could keep me from vomiting on you.
Right. So, but I can't get into the stuff that goes on.
Yeah, there are
on
people.
FAQ board.
There are people that are complaining about a video from 5 years ago that Gene and Paul were ribbing an interviewer for wearing an Iron Maiden shirt to an interview. So
Yeah,
they
I saw
walk.
that.
Yeah, so they walk in. They're just making fun of the guy, and I'm like, this is. And they're like, let's give him a KISS shirt. Let's give him, like, that was cool. And they're like, these fucking fat bastards and motherfuckers. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Where does that? Like, dude, come on.
Right. Do they make missteps along the way? Of course, everybody makes missteps
Everybody
along
does.
the way. But you don't, you wouldn't go out and you just don't call people names like that. I don't understand it. It blows me away.
if I
And
was
some of
the-
the stuff that was,
If
some
I
of
was
the
a
stuff
meaner
that's going
person,
on in your,
yeah. Sorry.
You go.
You go. No, keep your thought.
Me,
I was just going to follow up and say on the post that you made yesterday, Julian, a couple of those guys were calling Gene an idiot for his signature. And look, Gene is anything but an idiot. The man is not an idiot, and that's offensive to me. I don't understand why people would do that. So anyway,
when I posted some of the video of the first jam session with Ace, what the hell do you expect? That they're going to get up there and play a fully rehearsed set? No, this is impromptu. This is about the moment and the stories and the interaction of them trying to do it, them trying to perform, trying to remember. And then you see them remembering little bits and pieces together and talking about those. And you're learning about the songwriting of who did a bass line, what is the actual lyric in a song, and the little bit of humor between. It's about the interaction. It's not about a perfectly formed performance of a song. You want that? Go and listen to Yes, because it's not like that. It's Ace coming in to support Gene on a excuse me again, on a special event, and to give something special to the fans. Ace did not need to pick up a guitar and get up on stage.
Nope.
Ace could have come in and gotten his vault, signed a few autographs, and said, "See you later, Curly." He did not. He hung around. He got up on stage. He did so with good humor. With the tunings, Gene and the sound man are not going to be swapping spit anytime soon, I'm sure.
I saw that video where I guess when Ace and Gene were talking during that little jam session, there was like a lot of feedback, and Gene goes, "Is this your first day working here? Is this your first day?" And I was like, dude, that guy's fired.
Don't make me find out where you live. That's one of his shticks, though. When everything doesn't sound right, that's how he deals with letting the sound man know to fix it, and also how lighten up the audience. That's that's just his thing.
It's fun and it's lighthearted, and the guy's not being mean. I mean, when Gene looks, "Is this your first day?" Like, that's funny. And if someone doesn't think it's,
I don't think if you're a sound man and you have Gene Simmons asking where you live and if it's your first day, if you're finding that very funny.
Yes, but here's the
everybody
aside.
else does.
Here's the aside to that. You've been hired to do a job and you are not doing the job, so of course you're gonna get made fun of. Of course you are. So
hey, if it does not sound right, you have not done your job right. So that's just how it is. Let's not get off track there on that technical the details of that. There's a lot that goes into it.
No,
the miking of acoustic guitars. Trying to play Shock Me on an acoustic, it's got to be the craziest thing you could try and do. And it was just so hilarious that they made it quite a bit through that. And he's like, I'm not doing this solo on an acoustic. It's like, should be a Les Paul, So. Those moments are everything.
It was fun watching them, Gene and Ace, try to go through life in the woods. That was a pretty interesting.
That they could remember bits and pieces together.
This is how the riff goes, and Gene plays it almost perfectly.
Talking about it, who knows this? Holy shit! Just that part of history that very few fans who are online were there in '73 at the Daisy. We got to experience that when that show leaked. And here are Gene and Ace talking about that on stage together. You can't script that. You can't plan that. It's completely organic. It's completely magical. And it's not going to be something that happens at every Vault experience. But what is Gene going to remember differently at all of those Vault experiences when he does something, or if he does have a guest? What is that interaction going to lead to in terms of jostling memories free, talking about bass lines or riffs or who knows what? And that is the great thing about this. Yeah, we did the first Vault experience in LA, and Bruce and Eric and Ace and, some other people were there. And it won't be the same in Detroit in 2 weeks' time. But what will be different there? What will be changed in the process? What will be changed in the performance? What has Keith and Gene learned? What Gene's probably going to decompress this and say, well, I didn't like this. I didn't like that. I love this. And, he's really thinking about the fans in this, and they're very cognizant of the value attached to what we've paid for this experience. So I can't wait to be sitting on Facebook watching people posting Facebook Live in 2 weeks for the one, even though I've done one. And I'm not going to say mine is better than yours is going to be, because you're going to have a hell of an experience. And I'm absolutely sure you're going to enjoy it.
I'm going to be on a plane on the way home. I won't be able to watch it. You will too. Detroit's the same weekend as Atlanta.
That's right.
Oh, I'm going to be working, so
none of us. None of us.
We'll all be in Atlanta.
We will live vicariously after the fact, and to everyone who's skipping Atlanta to go to Detroit, I would say you're gonna don't regret the decision. I'm in the middle, and I have my camera on a 10-foot tripod, and he's like, "Hey, that's Julian Assange from the KISS FAQ."
Julian Assange.
That's Julian Assange from Kissy Leaks.
Kissy Leaks.
Kissy Leaks.
Oh, son of a bitch! That's funny.
Yeah. So that he remembered my name is hilarious, and so did Bruce. Okay, let's get back into all that side of things as well. Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the storytellers section about that, where it's just Gene up there and an acoustic guitar. Talk about some of your memories and talk about some of the things that Gene did.
So as we get towards the end of the event, Keith comes up on stage, and he kept coming up a couple times during the afternoon just to say where everything was going, what was happening. So again, props to him for keeping everyone informed. He said, in a few minutes the service staff are going to come out and kick you out of your chairs and line them up in more of a format for the storyteller, which is going to be happening. So they do that. We grab our seats, and everyone gets comfy while they're doing all their stuff. And then he comes up, he says, okay, there's about 7 more people still to receive their vaults. So, it's going to be, a little while yet. He tried to get him to do some stand-up comedy. Got one out of him, and that was it. So again, he kept us happy. Gene eventually does wrap up. And he comes out, and what I will say about Gene, he just put in 8 hours, pretty much. He looked good. He looked happy. He was still full on of I am delivering. I am not done giving you your experience. The song and stories, my expectations for it was obviously Ken Sharp's video interview with Gene did come out on Friday. I was expecting it to be very similar to that, and it was. Now, obviously, again, as I mentioned, his how he worded what he was talking about, the stories was different. He had problems with that guitar again, and whether that's going to be just become part of it to allow him to talk more about it, who knows? So he played, and it was really tying back the dynamic of his music creation and his love of the Beatles and the music that he listened to in the 60s. So he's playing you chords from Beatles songs and the stuff that inspired him, and then showing you how that translates into what he started writing. Obviously, My Uncle Is a Raft, My Lorraine, Put On Your Slippers. But there's Gene up there. And Ken Sharp and I were talking later, and it was, oh my God, he just played a little bit of Eskimo Sun. He just played a little bit. What was the other one? Because it just blew. Oh, Always Near You, from his solo album.
Yeah.
Some of that, and the stories that go along with how he writes. And then in between, he's saying, he's got the sound man playing some of the stuff from his box again still, the Bob Dylan stuff. I could have done without a lot of that, the talking part, but it was a really good presentation. And then because we were so far behind, I'm pretty sure they cut it short to bring up Bruce, Eric, and
right.
And Ace. Initially, it was just Ace that came back up again. Ace didn't have a pick. Someone had nicked the pick off the guitar, or they'd forgotten to put it out. And anyone got a pick? Well, who's got a pick? Bruce Kulick to the rescue, as always, prepared. Brings Ace a pick. Here you go, Ace. And, he brings everyone up. Now you've got KISS 2.0 up on stage. You've got Bruce Kulick, Eric Singer. What's Eric going to play? Eric, play the vault. You can bang on that.
Play the vault.
Yeah. So Ace and Bruce on guitar, Gene on vocals. Gene handed over the guitar to Bruce. Then Bruce confiscated the out-of-tune guitar from Ace and tuned it. It was just people who want perfection. Forget, again, what I said earlier. It was about the moment and all these little bits and pieces. They started, what did they do? Sympathy for the Devil. 2000, man. I think Shock Me.
She's So European.
Yeah, a little bit of She's So European.
Whoa.
Which was just had people going gaga.
Gene played the intro.
So, again, I'm trying to do this all off memory, having not reviewed any of the video. I may be mixing up some of what Ace and Gene did earlier in the day with what all of them did later. So you got two pretty hefty jam sessions. I mean, Ace telling Gene he has to sing Sympathy for the Devil because it's about you. And then him singing it. And, I thought about it too late, but with AC and Eric sitting right next to Eric was actually banging on Ace's guitar as well for percussion. How relaxed they all were together. I should have shouted out with Ace, Foxy Lady, because obviously Eric's Singer Project and Ace himself having played it. What did they do? A little bit of Louie, and then joke. Oh God, it was the joke about Joan Jett. Some Twist and Shout.
Tripper.
Yeah, and again, John's shouting out some of the songs. I'm forgetting Day Tripper, where these happen in the context of the day.
Rocket Ride.
Rocket Ride. Again, Gene. That's probably the first time Gene's played the bass riff of Rocket Ride ever.
Right. Was he even on the recording?
No.
Exactly. It's Ace on the recordings, and they never played it live, which is one of the crying shames in history that song for me didn't get performed. Agreed. So again, and then they brought it to a pretty rapid end, and once they were done, they did their bows, and Eric gave me my new website title. They were all off, and they were doing just again pictures with everyone and anyone, and that's when I got my last picture with Ace, and my first picture of the day with Ace, and again, it was just, oh my goodness, it was like standing applause for Gene and Bruce and Eric, Ace and Keith, and the fans. The fans were awesome. I met so many people yesterday, had some great conversations, even with the loud, crackly, mono MP3 quality music coming through the PA. Just fantastic people to talk about our personal histories, what we like about the vault. I don't recall there being what we don't like about the vault discussed. It was all positive going in.
As it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And people's it was a celebration. Just, to coin the phrase, a rock and roll party.
Incredible.
And that's almost a perfect way to end it. That's almost a perfect way to end it.
Well, before I cough my lung out of my nose?
Well, that's on the director's cut. That's when that's on the director's cut.
For a $5.95 bonus, you can see Julian cough his lung out of his nose.
and more jokes from Andrew. We'll give you $5.99 for that. Well, listen. You've sold me on this, and I'm going to do whatever I can to go and do it here in Cleveland. It sounds like an amazing thing, and I'm glad it went so well. So let's.
Yeah, I was.
Are they doing it in
originally
Nashville, Jason?
They've scheduled a date for Nashville. I was originally going to go in with a friend of ours on the Atlanta one, and let me be a part of his experience, kind of like what I don't know how you and Jonathan did it, but you get to take a guest, and you're plus one, and Jonathan went with you, and so I was going to go with my friend, and he was he of course wants the vault, and then your plus one pays a little bit and gets the experience, or however you want to do it with somebody.
It's going to be different for everyone. How did I do mine?
Sure.
I wanted someone to share the experience with me, someone
Sure.
who I could have fun with, who was going to be a laugh a minute.
Right.
And hey, Jonathan, you a laugh a minute? Hell yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
But after
who actually took off and missed the acoustic session to go to the Rams game.
Not the ACE Frehley part, though.
So
wow.
yeah, that was the other thing going on in LA, of course, was their first playoff appearance in many years. So, how you do your plus one, I strongly recommend having a friend with you, whether you just take them or you split, you make whatever. It's just adds to the moment. You can just be there on your own. You can have a close friend with you. You're going to have a good time with all the other people, because you all know that you're Marilyn Manson-esque beautiful people, and you're all there for the same reason. You're all celebrating the same party. You've all gone $2,000 in for a vault experience for very, very similar reasons. So,
Right.
It's very hard to say you are not guaranteed a good time. You're certainly going to get every cent's worth of that $2,000 from the effort that Gene and Keith and the supporting, Sherry was there in LA, and she works the help support line. You're going to get them making sure that you leave there feeling satisfied. And all the way, by the way, another thing to mention, at the end, there was a bag of swag, a big box of swag that you could get stuff from at the exit. And I just couldn't be bothered to dig through a crowd into deep. I was so hungry at that point. I wanted to get down to Bloodso's and have our traditional barbecue hangout. So, do it. If you can, do it. So that you don't end up like an Ace Frehley autobiography title, regrets.
Right.
Don't have any regrets. Don't be on the fence and keep watching these videos, hemming and hawing. And if you've got some KISS collectibles to sell to finance it, well, gentlemen, do you know where people can sell their collectibles to finance the vault experience?
KISS My Kollectibles. Yep.
Yeah. Facebook.com/groups/KISS My Kollectibles with a K. And speaking of, just to give Gene a little extra free press, GeneSimmonsVault.com if you want to participate in this. GeneSimmonsVault.com. But yeah, Andrew, once I started seeing the track listing come out of this thing, and then I saw the Nashville date added, I was like,
when's the Nashville date? Do you remember?
I don't recall. I'll have to look it up again. But I was like, I told my buddy, I was like, man, I think you're gonna have to find somebody else to go on with you, because I think I'm gonna try to figure out how to make this happen for myself,
Yeah.
because I want the vault.
I mean,
want the vault.
I want. You know what? Yeah, I do. I want the vault. I want the vault. So I'm gonna do whatever I
want to
can.
proudly display it next to my Kisteria out here, and I think they'll look great together. So, but anyway, GeneSimmonsVault.com. Andrew, selling merchandise, or
that's what I'm doing right now. I'm selling merchandise right this moment to finance this.
All right. Well, Julian,
I'm buying merchandise right now.
Is there anything else you want to add that you think you left out? Anything you want to tell the people?
No, but thank you. And thank you to everyone who left positive comments or appreciated some of the stuff that I tried to share yesterday. I know that a lot of you won't be able to do it or will be doing it and want to know about what it was like. I love the positive stuff. Leave the negative shit elsewhere. It's just not needed. I'm glad I was able to share some stuff. I'm glad I got to the Hollywood Star. Thank you to Jonathan for coming down with me and being a great partner in crime for this weekend. It was a really good time. Thank you to Ken Sharp and Daniel for always being fantastic guys to hang out with at our favorite barbecue place, and to Ken Keenan and his partner, who also from the KISSFAQ podcast, who came down and are always fun to see. It was fantastic from start to finish. I'm looking forward to the drive back today. Hopefully get a few more of these songs ripped onto a format that I can play in the car, because I do not put $2,000 box set CDs into a car CD player ever. even in my vehicle, they're going onto my USB key. So I'll get a couple of discs on there. 11's going on, and if I can, get the heavy ones from Carnival of Souls, and hearing the Hell or High Water demo coming through the PA. Oh my God, it sounds, the crazy nice stuff, the Animalized stuff. Get off the fence, people. Just if you can, do it. And I'll be like, I'm going to have the same shit-eating grin on the KISSFAQ episode when we do it later this week. It's just one of those things. I'm glad I could talk to you guys this early.
Yeah. Yes.
And talk about this so we can get the word out and really keep the celebration going, so that the people coming up in Australia and Detroit know that they've got something awesome coming their way, as does everyone who's going to do the Vault experience.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Julian.
Thank you. Really, seriously.
Sharing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes we've ever recorded, and I'm excited, man.
We gotta do it. So, hey, so that's it from us, and what do you always say, Jason? See you on the next one.
We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Thanks for tuning in to Kiss My Kollectibles, your source for vinyl, toys, bootlegs, and more. Visit us online at KissMyKollectibles.com.